Hello, everybody. I think our guest has finally joined us. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to click on this and see if we do have our. Yes, I think we have a co-host. Hold on 1 second, please. Aloha. Hi, Andrew. Aloha. Is
Aloha.
that you? Hi, dear.
Yes.
Our guest did not show today. Oh, I don't know what happened. Some kind of mix-up, but we can go ahead and do
Impromptu?
Impromptu thing. You're going to change the time. Yes, I can change the time. Okay.
Why not? We can do that.
Sorry. Well, we can do that. Take advantage of it. That was interesting. I don't know what happened. But welcome to the show, everybody. Let me just do a little intro. I'm Jenna Lessin. This is the Aquarian Radio Network, and today's show is an episode of, let's see, what is today? Today is Thursday. On Thursday, we're doing Alien Contact Organization, and our guest today was going to be Michael Herring, but we had some kind of mix-up, so I rescheduled him, so I put a space holder on aquarianradio.com, and I will get back with him and record his and upload it another time. But today we have Andrew Aloha, and I don't think I have a bio up on. No, I don't have one. I can grab real quick here.
It's on your
Andrew.
Aquarian page. Yes.
Yeah, I got to go to another page here. Okay, so let me click for that. But while I'm looking for your bio, why don't you just tell everybody about yourself? Who are you, Andrew Aloha?
Well, I'm a long-time radio show host from Blog Talk Radio as well. I did a variety of shows.
What were you talking about?
I did a variety of shows: psychic shows, relationship shows, music shows, interviews. I interviewed people from all over the world. Some of them were on CNN, the History Channel. On OM Magazine, Conscious Life. All kinds of stuff. So, and I did a paranormal show. I did a relationship show, Intimacy, Tantra, and Relationships Psychically Fulfilled, with co-host Maha Dikini Lore out of San Francisco. And I started back. I was in Sedona. I've lived a number of years in Arizona, mostly in northern Arizona, over 23 years, and mostly in Sedona. And so I was living with a girlfriend out in Southern California, and I said, well, no, I got to go back to Sedona. So I did, when I got back, this woman introduced me to Blog Talk Radio. She goes, hey, check out this website, see what you think. And I said, oh, interesting. So I just kind of played around with it, started doing some meditations and some healing show. Me and my girlfriend were still together at the time over the phone, a long-distance relationship. And we started doing a healing show. Eventually, I started doing interviews. And I said, you know what, God, I'll do this. I'll do these shows, these interviews, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. Either you bring me the people to interview or forget it. I'm not going to do it. So that's exactly what happened. Literally the next day, about 7:30 in the morning, the mayor of Sedona calls me up, Rob Adams. Andrew, you still want to do that interview? What? What are you talking about? I'm not even awake yet. He goes, yeah. You want to do that interview? I said, oh, sure, why not? So I actually interviewed him twice over, and on the second interview, he announced his candidacy to rerun again for mayor, and he did. I think he won that year as well. And I said, because I'm an astrologer, I used to do psychic readings, and that was my most popular show, the Golden Age Psychic Show. I used to do that show.
People love psychics. They love.
Yeah,
we noticed that.
They love to have readings, right?
Right. What type of readings do you do?
Yeah, I do astrology, tarot card, and psychic intuitive. And so I did astrology, and I did. I told Rob Adams. I said, because Pluto went into Capricorn. I said, if you do anything, do it big. Don't do it small. Just do it big. And sure enough, they did instead of doing fireworks for 4th of July, they did a laser light show, right? They go, we're going to do a laser light show. So they planned for about 500 people to be there, and they did it at a high school. Or I take it back. I think it was at an elementary school across the street from an elementary school. There's a park, a baseball field and stuff. And you wouldn't over 2,000 people showed up to that thing. And so the next year they did it at the high school, and I think over 3,000 or 4,000 people showed up that year. So I don't know what happened this year because I didn't go to it, but since then they've had it at the high school, and it's been much more elaborate than not. So anyhow, so did you find my bio yet?
Oh, let's see. Yes, I did. Let me pull that up. Here we go. Andrew Aloha has been on a number of psychic networks and a World Renown Intuitive Astrologer for over 20 years. And just like you said, he has interviewed a number of people and has helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people throughout the world with his career, with career, money, clarity, relationships, twin flames, soulmates, transitioned loved ones, the afterlife, future lives, UFOs, aliens, implants, health, wealth, manifestation, missing people, missing items, animals, and more. So that's one aspect of you. And using astrology, tarot cards, and psychic intuition, Aloha has been able to help people quickly identify their old patterns and or lifestyles that no longer serve them and teach them how to trade or change them into new ones. He has learned to quickly identify people's fears and or obstacles and help them move into bigger, better, healthier, happier ways of life. And I've got a long bio and pictures up here on AquarianRadio.com. I invite people to go and check it out. And I will have the recording. Let's see, feedback.
Yeah, what happened?
Let's see what's going on.
No, I turned it off. No,
that was you?
It was me on the computer. I was trying to figure out how to do the back page back officer on your thing or whatever. But
okay, cool.
I've done all kinds of stuff. I've been on several different psychic networks, doing astrology readings, and I don't know. That was really stressful. Strange enough, that was really stressful because you do a lot for very little. You hardly get paid anything. I remember years ago I was living in Sedona, and there was a couple in Sedona that put together a group under the Psychic Readers Network, and so I joined the group. We had to apply like a regular job. We had to fill out an application. We had to have references. And then we had to do a reading, actually, I don't know that we even did a reading. I think we just had to have references, our friends say. And of course, my friends go, yeah, Andrew is a really good astrologer. He does really good with that, blah 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 blah. So they did. They let me in, and I would, and the way it worked is you call a certain number. And then you hang up, and then all of a sudden they start sending you traffic, phone calls. So I was one of the few. I was one of the few people because you can only talk an hour at a time at the most. And I would have about 4, 5, 6 different phone calls in a night, and that's it. That was the extent of my readings because I would do readings for like 2 or 3, 4 hours at a time. I mean, I wouldn't have to work. I'd get one call. I'd be an hour, and then I hang up. I'd get another call. I'd be another hour, and I was one of the few people that was able to last at least an hour on the phone with talking to people and doing readings with them, right? So, and then and then shortly after that, I was invited by Sai Baba to go visit him. Right, he came to me in a dream. He asked me, he goes, when? I said, when may I come and visit you? He says, in May. And I said, okay. So I quit my job, quit my girlfriend, quit school, quit everything, put everything in storage and took off, right, for about almost 2 months.
Right.
Out to India. And so, but those readings were the best. I was making about $16 an hour, believe it or not, doing that. But these other places, sometimes they wouldn't even pay me for my readings. Oh, I said, oh man, and I caught them in the act, right? And I said, hey, why aren't you paying me for my readings? Well, so these guys aren't paying. Well, so what if they aren't paying you? That's not my problem. I'm getting paid to do a certain job, and you're supposed to pay me. Period. So finally, I just said, forget you. So I stopped working for the psychic reader, the psychic companies, and now I'm just winging it on my own and so forth. So. But
yeah, well, if you ever want to do it again, I think that'd be great. Because see, I don't do psychic readings. I do psychotherapy. But my husband says that I'm very psychic. So while I have a lot of psychological skills, like something like you do too, right? I interject, my intuition, which is very strong. Anyway, it kind of cuts to the chase. Although people like to do their own processes, so if you want to do your own processes, that's fine. And I like helping people figure out for themselves, because when they come up with the answers, it sticks, right? When they come up with their own answers, they go, now I get it.
Oh no, are you kidding? I've had like 2 or 3 psychologists on my. I don't know. And we're not even talking psychologists. I think altogether I've had 4, 5, 6 different psychotherapists, psychologists on my show talking about different things. Even
I think there's a lot of crossover.
Even on the
psychotherapists that are really good.
I've had psychotherapists.
Right.
No, go ahead.
I think the psychotherapists have to be very intuitive, like psychics, to pick up, what's going on with their clients, because clients are not always able to access, because the lacunae, because of trauma, they might not be able to access that, Uncle diddled them, right? So they require assistance a lot of times. So okay. So you were doing the psychic necklace, whatever the Sai Baba, and then you came back.
I want to change directions here now. This guy is going to talk about Mars. What does he know about Mars, or do you know?
I don't know at this point. He's I can go pull up his bio. I was just pulling up your bio, so I'll have to go switch. Okay, so hold on.
Because you talked to Andrew Basagio, right?
Oh yeah, I talk to Andrew all the time.
And yes. he talked about going to Mars, right? Traveling to Mars.
Yes, he's been on my show, I don't know, a dozen times, I'd say. Yeah,
really?
Andy's a semi-regular. Yes, he's a good friend of mine. So he's been on many times.
Because I've had him on my show a couple of times. He talked about, now the building where he used to do the jumps, the travel from, it was downtown Santa Monica almost. Is that correct?
I think it was 666 what's it called? Sepulveda or something like that.
Sepulveda,
Sepulveda. I've been down that street. I passed it. I went, there's where Andy's jump room was. And then they had a movie.
I passed that place. I passed that place before several times, and in fact, the girlfriend that I was involved with in California used to work out of there. I think she used to do massages out of there, believe it or not.
Oh, it's a big office building. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's interesting that's where he used to do his jumps from. And it's interesting, what he said. He did 42 trips to Mars and back. Is that about right?
I don't remember the number. It's been a while since I talked to him on specifics of that, but that sounds about right. Yeah.
Now, this Michael Herring guy, has he been to Mars, or do you know?
No, he's more of a NASA person talking about the straight-laced world, although he's doing the UFO circuit. So I wasn't sure, and I hope to get him on in a future show. We're having difficulty getting Michael on. This is like the third time something has come up, and we've had to postpone. But I'm not sure what's going on there. The universe wanted us to talk today, I guess. So here we are.
Yeah.
But I will get him on eventually. That's okay. I'm expanding. If anybody's out there listening and they would like to come on our Aquarian Radio Network, I was doing just 2 or 3 shows a week, but now I'm going to be doing 4 or 5 shows a week. I'm home for the rest of the year. I didn't plan on any trip for 2019. Normally I do the circuit. I go and sell books and present, but I started the new year off and I wasn't feeling very well, so I didn't know how long it was going to take to recover. So I'm recovered now, but I didn't book it up, and it's too late now. I'm not going to go out in the winter, and although it's only July, I could, but I didn't plan it. So it's unlikely. So I decided to expand and do more radio shows. So I've invited Andrew to come on, and whenever it works for you, Andrew, to come on like today. And so I'm so glad you're here, because we're just getting to know each other. But I like, I guess, training co-hosts, so there are a lot of them come with a lot of skills. So I guess learning how to work together with co-hosts. That's what I like doing. I love
Right.
I think it's more fun. It's more fun when you have someone else to banter with and discuss the issues and everything. So,
have you heard of Tonya Maddenford and Frank Jacob? Do you know who they are?
Yes, I do. They made the movie Packing for Mars, and Andrew was in that. And Packing for Mars won the EBE award at the UFO Congress a few years back. And I've had them both on our show several times. But they, it takes a long time to get a movie out. So I told them next time you get another movie out, let me know.
And I think they are.
We'll review it. What do they have?
I think they are working on another one. I don't know what it is, but I think they have been working on another one. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, but I think they have been within the last several months. Now, did you watch that Packing for Mars documentary?
I saw it several times, and I think I have an autographed copy somewhere.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't get a copy of it, but I did watch it.
It was fun.
I said, no, I did watch it, and I just remember
this
guy.
What did you think of it?
Well, I just remember they were looking for the machinery, the what you call it, to send people wherever, and they couldn't find it. I guess they dismantled it and got rid of it or something. And then on stage, this one guy comes on and says, "Yeah, I can go to Mars, go eat lunch, and then come back the same day." So I thought, wow, that's pretty significant, right? And I try not to make heads or tails of any of it. I just take it with a grain of salt and leave it at that until I find something that disproves or proves something, and then I go with that. But it was just information that I thought was very interesting. But it was interesting because even before I watched it, which is about 2 or 3 years ago, I had already known, within myself, that people were time traveling to already, and they were working on it. And I think I told you already. I watched a number of time travel videos of people that have time traveled, and they all. I don't know how many of these 8, 9, 10 of them, 12 of them that I've watched, and every one of them says the same thing: that 2028 they're going to commercialize time travel. So I think that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. I have a fellow, his name is Michael McIntosh, Did you watch his interview on the Apex TV? Anyway, he's come on my show a couple times, and I really, I think he's cool. And I like his philosophy.
Is he a time traveler?
He says he's a time traveler, and he says that he's a future president. And so he named the president. I'll have to pull up his show page. He named, like, the next 50, 60, 70 years who the presidents are. And so, and I said, well, how did you know that? And he said, well, I went to the future, and then, so that's their history. Went to the future, and that's their history. So I said, interesting. So that's the history in the future. So,
go
ahead.
Did he say if Trump is going to be the next president again?
He did, unfortunately. But I know. I already know that answer. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I'm sorry out there for all you Republicans, but no.
Right. Not.
No, we can't do this anymore. It's torture. I don't think we'll have a planet left for 4 years. And
I mean,
I don't like to get political, but I can't help it anymore.
Right.
Can't help it.
No, when he became president, before he became president, every year I do a psychic prediction show, a prediction for the whole year, right? I usually bring on 2, 3, 4 psychics with me, and we all do predictions for what's going to happen for the rest of the year, right? And I think the year before he became president, I predicted that he was going to become president. I didn't want to say it, but that was what was coming up, so I didn't have any choice.
So what do you think is happening now, though? I mean, because they just this is a good topic. They just what's that guy? Oh, I got to pull it up. The latest pervert guy.
The billionaire.
They vindicated.
And it was funny because I was just saying, because I do Facebook Live videos about every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, depending on what's going on, right? And I was just saying, like a few weeks ago, man, what's going on here? All these people are getting prosecuted, and if they don't have any money, then they get prosecuted. But if they have money, they don't get prosecuted. What's the problem? What's going on with this? What kind of crap is this? And sure enough, a few weeks later, here comes this billionaire gets zapped. Oh my God, that dude is not going to be happy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, see, my thought was, and I'm a psychic, and I could be wrong because I'm not, and I'm very, very intuitive. I thought that somehow Andrew's not Andrew. Trump has lost favor. He's lost favor with the Illuminati, and that's why they're trying to bring him down now. He's done something, and they don't like him anymore, and that's why they have this latest one of his friends, because they have something on everybody, right? They take them to Bohemian Grove. All the popes, they make them kill babies.
Right.
The pope just, goes online, hey, you killed babies, right? And they have all these sex things that they do, and the sex parties, and there's underage people, and they take pictures. And so whenever somebody's out of line, they go, well, either you step down, or we're going to bring you down. So I thought with this latest guy, because it's talking about, underage teenage girls, and there's like 52 of them they're going to have come forward.
I know.
They really want Trump to come down now, so he must have pissed off.
No kidding.
Must have pissed off God or Satan or whoever's at the top of this dung heap. He pissed them off. They say, "Oh yeah, buddy. Well, you think you're God, you're not, and we're taking you down." This is pretty. I mean, if he gets implicated in, and he's got all these children that he's had sex with and groped and everything, and he's still president, there's something really wrong with this world. I mean, it's gone way into the dark side of the force. because they took out
this is
Clinton because
this
of
is what I
the
think.
blowjob, and they're going to keep a pedophilia president. Go ahead, your turn. Yeah, go ahead.
This is what I think, and maybe there's some significant truth behind Trump being the president again next term. Now, and again, what people don't understand, even though these people have time traveled into the future, and they come back and tell us, all this blah 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 happened. Well, so what? That's their truth, and that's their future. That doesn't mean it's everybody else's future necessarily, right? And so
right.
We have all these parallel universes going on, and different stuff happens in all the different universes, right? So and again, even though that's true as well, I think if Trump ends up not becoming president next time around, I think there's going to be some really big stuff that's going to happen down the road. Oh my God, I think there's going to be some pretty outrageous stuff that's going to happen. I think the whole time travel thing is going to be completely off, and these guys are going to be full of it, and we're going to be going into a completely different direction that these time travelers probably don't know anything about or very little about. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well,
so I think that it's going to be very
interesting. As a time traveler myself, and I time traveled because I'm an extraterrestrial contactee. And when I was 4, I was taken on board the mothership, and they showed me 24 parallel future histories, possibilities, probabilities, right? And they asked me, and they were all, some of them were very destructive. The planet blows up in the worst case scenario. And the other end of the continuum, there was utopia. And then they showed 24 of them, and I was like crying. It was very intense. More than just showing you, that you feel it all. You feel everything. You see it, you hear it, you smell it. It's like you're in there. It's like the holodeck, right? But this is 1958, so I didn't know what this was. So anyway, I'm in there and I'm feeling this, and I'm immersed in this process. And then they stop the viewing, and then they say, which one do you want? And I chose one of the really nice utopian ones. I said, that one looks good. So, and then they returned me to the Earth. So I have, in effect, time travel. And time is, like you said, it's an illusion. It's not really, we're multidimensional beings. We can go everywhere. And so it's just the perspective of where I am. So like you're saying,
exactly.
I don't think it's set in stone. I think we are the choosers, and there are some people that are going to choose Trump again, but I'm working really hard to get on that alternative timeline because I like Star Trek. The original. I like having, we're peaceful space explorers. Well, even Star Trek became Star Wars, right? So I'm doing my mission to get us back on
no
track.
Kidding. I choose Captain Kirk too. Why not? Where's Captain Kirk at anyhow? Right? even Captain Kirk would be better than Trump, right?
Oh yeah. So let's look at that. So your psychic prediction was that Trump got term 1. What about term 2?
I think it's possible that he may not be necessarily be term 2 president. I think it's weighing heavily that he will be because of all the predictions I've seen and come across, and I haven't really checked in within myself if he's going to become president again or not because I don't want to because I don't want to know that right now, right? So, but I have a sense that could change. That could still change even now, and I think I don't know who else is going to come forward. I mean, there's a lot of Democrats that are sure coming forward to vie for that position, but I don't know any of them that even as I don't know what the word is for Trump is, but I want to say mongrel, but I don't know if that's the word. But even though as much of a tyrant as he can be, I don't know anybody in the Democratic parties that's strong enough to overpower him yet. And
I don't think that's what it's about. I don't think it's about overpowering.
Absolutely,
I think it's about guidance, love, compassion, leadership, representation, fairness, equality, getting needs met, helping people survive, the survival of the planet. I think you have to get away from this is a television star, and you're going to have a powerful. We don't need a world dictator. We don't need a world leader. We don't need.
Exactly.
I'd actually like to see them replace the presidency branch of the government with a council of 12, and not 13, but 12. 6 men, 6 women
that would be interesting.
that have to come into total consensus, because that's what we had. I'm a researcher, and back in the Nibiran, and I'm a Nibiran. I'm a Anunnaki contact experiencer, but I also have the very lot of Anunnaki bloodline. And what we had was a council of 12, 6 men, 6 women, and when we had any decisions that affected the world and humanity and Nibirans, we had to come to total consensus. That means you have to talk it out until you come to total agreement, 12 minds, that it's going to work. A win for all, the win for all scenario. This democracy, and Heinlein said this, what's this about voting? One group gets to vote, 49% get ruled by the 51% just because they outvoted it. That's just a bully system. That's not really fair. So we need governance and leadership where we can't have basic human rights, like a woman's right to choose. And let's just take that one, and then I'll pass it back to you. Right now, they have, I believe in techno-fixes. So right now they have the ability to take a fetus and transfer it to another womb, either a host womb in a living person or a artificial womb. And they could throw a couple $1 billion into that and perfect it, right? But it's got a very high survival rate, and it's working. And this has just kind of been research on the side, and a few people have benefited from it. Because they could take a baby out, or do operations, put it back in. They just put it back into somebody else, right? So we have that ability. So if we're really wanting to save all these children, that are getting aborted all over the world, then you can just line them up for adopted wombs and parents, and you want to adopt, well, adopt now. You don't have to wait. And, of course, a 11-year-old to bear a child, right? They got raped. So that's a win for all, right? But do we really need all those people right now? Okay, so what if we don't need all those people right now? We've got 7.5 billion people. We can't feed the ones we got, Well, we can freeze these fetuses. And so a woman recently gave birth to a fetus that was frozen 24 years ago. So she gave birth to a 24-year-old fetus. So that's possible, too. So we can save that to the time in the future where pollution is so bad and we've all become sterile. Well, then here's the fetus bank, and you can go and adopt the fetus, and maybe you're still strong enough to bear a child, or you can put it in an artificial womb, and we don't have to turn into Handmaid's Tale. Okay, back to you, Andrew. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Well, I think you hit it on the head, and I don't know if you understand that, but you're right. We need leaders. We don't need totalitarians. We don't need people that are just want to do whatever they want to do, and we don't need, and not to be rude or off target, but we don't need mothers either. We need leaders, and we need people that take up the responsibility for their people, make sure that all the people are safe and sound and secure, and we need to make sure that they all have a way to go in the right direction, to be supportive, to be creative, to be productive, to be of service, to be to work with all that. And so we need but we need people that are leaders as role models, not that people that are going to go and assign their different tasks, their different leadership tasks to other people, and then let them lead through other people. Now, years ago, there was talk about having two presidents, and I don't know whatever happened to that, but it went off the wayside, and nothing ever happened. But they were talking about having two presidents, literally. And
I think that's far too much power to put in one person's hands, and nobody's that smart enough. Unless it's AI that could take in every factor. See, to come up with a win for all that really benefits all beings, you have to have all the factors. So you have to put everybody in there, all the races, colors, creeds. This is a very bigoted planet right now, very prejudiced, and I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I live on
it's very
on an island,
annoying.
and we have every race here. We have every race here. I love Maui. There's every color here. And I go down into town, and so it's very integrated, and I love everybody. I've been here on this island for 24 years, and on Oahu for 4 years before that, and I got away from the black-white world, right? And I went into an integrated world,
right.
And that's how you learn about all people are lovable. You can't love somebody because of their skin color or their features? That's bizarre to me. I can't even understand that anymore. Yeah.
But if you think about it, the aliens from other worlds are more evolved than we are. Most of them are. A lot of them are. And if you think about it, that's why they won't come and visit us or talk to us in public, because we're not ready. We can't even deal with each other. And how are we going to deal with them who are completely much more different than we are? And if we can't handle each other, then how are we going to handle them? If they're completely different looks, the way they operate, the way they live, the way they eat. I mean, their lifestyle is so much more different than ours. And why would they? And they're more evolved than we are. Why would they even bother with teenagers, with kids like us, who can't even deal with each other, right? Oh, Mommy.
I think because we are their children. I think we are their. You hit it on the nail on the head. We are their children. This is an ongoing project that's been, since billions of years. They've been seeding and terraforming and cloning and interjecting their DNA and letting that stew for a while and see where it goes. So I think we are their children. That's the story of the Anunnaki. But the Anunnaki are just one of the more recent species that have come in here and donated their DNA. And the Greys are, the Greys, there's a living sentient branch of the Greys, and then there's the clones and the drones and the robotic Greys. So it's very complicated out there. I've been out there for a long time. I go to these huge council meetings, and I get downloads. Last night I had a major download, and I'm so blessed that I get this communication and downloads ongoing all the time. I wasn't just a teenager in the breeding program. They've been communicating with me all my life. So, yes, they love us. They love us, and they want to see us join the Federation and get conscious. And that's why they're contacting people. We interview them on our shows, and I hope you come on, Andrew, and help me interview these people, because the story that's emerging is absolutely amazing. What's going on out there with all these different species. They love us.
One of the things, before I forget, one of the things that these time travelers have talked about, I think one or two of them, at least one of them, but maybe two or three of them, I'm not sure. But they have said that we are going to be doing the first contact, all that whole stuff. All the aliens are going to come forward, or not all of them, but the aliens are going to come forward. I think around the same time as when time travel is commercialized, which is 2028. Around 2025 through 2028, I believe it's when they're going to come forward and they're going to become public domain figures. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen.
I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for that timeline. And I've watched those, and people go, oh, they're corny, they're fake. I go, well, there's something about them. And I recommend you go there to Apex TV, and you'll probably go, oh, it's corny, oh, it's fake. But then there's just something you go away from and go, I don't know, there's something about this. There's something about it. And so in 2028, apparently we get contact from
that's what the understanding. Around maybe 2025, I can't remember, but either way, between 2025 and 2028, first contact is going to be official, like public domain, and the aliens are going to come forward. Now, have you heard about Maitreya Buddha?
We had that conversation privately, but we have listeners, and they'll be joining in later, and this will get archived. So explain Maitreya Buddha to everybody.
Well, I had an experience with Maitreya Buddha years and years ago, right before I got out of the Air Force. I was with these two women, and of all people, they were bankers, which is really auspicious because I don't know that I have ever partied with a banker before, ever since then. But anyhow, these two women are bankers. We're partying, and this man that looks like Spaniard, he comes out and he says, "The Christ will appear within 10 years." And I go down and I come back laughing, ha ha ha, and he's gone. He literally disappears. Later on, I figured out that he disappeared. Yeah, he literally disappeared, and because there's nowhere he can go within 5 seconds. This all took place within 10, 15 seconds, literally. And I look up, he's and he's gone. And to this day, I've never talked to these women about what they experienced because I don't even know. I have no clue, no idea. So later on, I find out that other people have had these experiences, same exact experiences in just a slightly different way, and so forth. So anyhow, Benjamin Creme is the one that comes forward and comes out and says, well, Maitreya Buddha is eventually going to come out into the public and start talking and doing their tours like Amachi the Hugging Saint and Karunamai and all these people that do tours. I believe he's going to start doing tours. Well, apparently he said that eventually Maitreya Buddha will start doing television interviews and all kinds of interviews, and apparently he's already done at least one or two television interviews. So and nobody knows who that is because he didn't come forward and say, "Oh, I'm Maitreya Buddha," blah 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 blah. He was just came forward as an ordinary person, did an interview, and I don't know, but I think this whole Jesus is coming. Well, Christ is coming back. This whole day of declaration, this whole doomsday, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, it's going to happen between now and 2028. Because I think that's all going to be part of the first contact experience. I think it's going to be interesting.
I've been at conferences and I've talked to Stuart Swerdlow, who was at Montauk, and other whistleblowers, and they said that that's a government, what do you call that, false flag event where they're going to, and they have the total continuum. So they started this program back with John after Jesus. What was that? Not John the Baptist, but the other John.
The John of God? Is that you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the one in biblical times that wrote Revelations. So they
that's what I'm talking about. John of God.
He didn't know how to explain it. That's what his name is.
He baptized Jesus.
No, that was John the Baptist. He got killed. No, after Jesus was gone, this other John went to an island and he had all these visions of the apocalypse, and that's what the apocalypso phenomenon is based on, Revelations, which was this guy who was probably on some good LSD or something, or he time traveled and he didn't know how to describe it, so they showed him all these things and he went back and wrote it down, but he didn't have the language to describe the inventions and things that he was seeing, so he put it in his own terminology from his own period, which was over 2,000 years ago. Anyway, so that seed was planted about we're all going to die. We're going to perish. We're going to have World War III, and we're going to have, 2/3 of the population destroyed, and all the animals and all the seeds and blah, blah, blah. But that was
but that's already happened. That's already happened. Don't you understand?
And we don't have to be on that timeline. We can switch, yeah.
Well, in essence, that's already happened. And you know why that all that happened? World War I, World War II, World War III? Because that was the switching of... we were switching from the age of Aquarius to the age of Pisces. That was when the energies were the strongest for that conflicting energy to happen. Both the age of Aquarius and the age of Pisces were fighting each other, and that was when the manifestation of it all. World War I, World War II, World War III, the Vietnam War, Korean War, all that was part of it. It takes 1,500 years to go from one sign, our solar system to go from one sign to the next, and we were in the middle of that energy back during World War I, World War II. And now, 2025 will officially be the end of the age of Pisces, and will be completely 100% in the age of Aquarius. So we're still not completely in the age of Aquarius 100%, and that's what people don't understand.
Right. So that was always confusing. But if you read Revelations, I read a book called Late Great Planet Earth back in 1970, I think it was, or 69, 70, and it was like an interpretation of what all that meant in Revelation. So it predicts this World War III. But I think what it was a propaganda that was implanted by these beings, which were probably Anunnaki, to create a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You put the idea, and then people get their minds around it, and they actually make it happen that way. So I think that's what was going on. And but what I learned from my experience on board ship, where I was shown in 24 timelines, is that we are the chooser. So we don't have to go there. Mm. And actually, if we get our head around something, we make it happen. So the reason why they have the world religions, and I'm not saying they're good or bad or right or wrong, but there's a lot of them have been hijacked for an agenda, for propaganda, is that if you get people believing it, they believe it, they embrace it, they become it, then it happens. So the reason why Christianity and Islam are so prominent is because people believe in it. But if you didn't believe it, they would disappear, and nobody would pay attention, and they would just fade away into history, and they'd be a myth, right? So that's what makes something real, is the belief that you get around it, and so you have to. So that's what Trump has done. He's rallied people around his belief system. But I think there's somebody pulling his strings too. I think he's just a puppet. That there's really a higher force puppet master.
Exactly. And see, to me, the Bible is like a history book. It's not a completely authentic, 100% accurate history book, but I think it's a history book, and I think we've already outlived most of the Bible. We only got like a tinge of it left, and we're just waiting for Maitreya Buddha to come forward and out into the public, which may be around the same time as the first contact, because Maitreya Buddha may be part of the alien race that we're supposed to make first contact with. I don't know. But I think they're going to be. That's all still in the works, and it's very close. We're very close to it at this point. And this one guy says that there's going to be millions and millions of people that are going to be killed between now and 2028. But I don't know. I think it's relative. I get, just like you said, we can choose.
Races. Stop having the death and dying and being killed and killing paradigms.
To me, I think
don't choose it.
Right. Exactly. That's what I think. Exactly what I think.
Right.
So I think it's up to us whether we want to stick around or not. But there's also that other theory that a lot of these people are going to be taken to that other planet that looks like planet Earth on the other side of the sun. So that's another alternative theory to that's in consideration as well. So I don't know all the details of what's going to happen, but I think we still got a bright sunny day, plenty of bright sunny days awaiting us further down the road. Absolutely, I do, without a doubt.
Right. So I have one researcher in Anunnaki. So my husband and I have written 4 books on the Anunnaki, and he's about to come out with the 5th book, and I'll be working on that the next couple of weeks here. He's going to hand it off to me, then I'll get it published. And so what we've done by researching the Anunnaki, which is the Anunnaki are the basis of all religions. And the warping came from the Anunnaki basically came to the Earth and they created humanity, and then they were overwhelmed. It's like Planet of the Apes. So there were all these apes, and they had to figure out a way of managing them because they discovered that the gods lead, and the gods, while they are long-lived, they're not immortal. They can be killed, and while they can revive themselves from the dead, they still can suffer death, and they can lose arms and limbs. So they had to protect themselves. So they created religions. A lot of these religions were created. Plus, it's also like a cargo cult, right? You know what a cargo cult is? Somebody leaves behind a plane in the jungle, and then they disappear for 100 years and come back, and everybody's worshiping this plane that got built, right? So things happen so far in antiquity that humans don't realize why they're, worshiping a god, and the gods didn't want to be worshipped. They were called worship, and it was just, what is your work in the world? Anyway, there's all these warpings that get out, researched and analyzed and put forth in books. And so Zechariah Sitchin and, what was that guy's name? A British guy. They put forth a whole series of books which showed how history got warped, how myths become legends and history becomes this converted mythology and cargo cults, and then what made into reality and the truth and the way and the like. So we're in this culture that things are so twisted, and it doesn't take long for things to get twisted, right? You can witness a car accident and have 20 people later, and they all have 20 different stories, right? So that's what's going on
it's
here.
like Jesus and Sai Baba and all these other saints that are on the planet now. They'll tell you the same thing. They don't want to be worshipped. They want you to find the God within yourself. And that's what they're trying to direct people and get people to focus on. But people don't understand. They don't get it. They start putting all these saints on a pedestal and worshiping them, and that's not what they want either. But that's fun. But go ahead.
Right. But this guy's theory, his name is Glenn Bogue. He's a wonderful attorney from Canada who's fighting for the indigenous people's rights of the world. He's an Anunnaki researcher, and he says that basically Enki is Jesus is a physically immortal being, is eternally lived, and he periodically comes back in time because humans can't get their minds around a being living for hundreds of thousands of years, but he shows up and he gets another name. So Sai Baba and Maitreya, all these might be emanations of the same being, but because he appears at a different time and space and even a different avatar, they think it's a different person. But it's all the same essence, and basically it's the guru, the enlightened one, the master that's coming here to help humanity ascend and become conscious and, and join the Federation, right?
Right.
Ultimately, they want us to grow up and be invited to join the Federation. So let's grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you know what's funny?
You know what's funny? When I was growing up, remember when Planet of the Apes came out?
Oh yeah, I saw that first.
Oh
first
my
run,
God!
Yeah.
I had nightmares for weeks, for months. I had nightmares after I watched that movie. Oh my God, that freaked me out. And maybe that's why. Are you saying that the Anunnaki were apes or something like that, or who was apes?
No,
where did that come from?
The Anunnaki were the humans, and they created human beings by gene splicing and manipulation. So, because they needed a worker race to work the mines, because they needed gold for a couple of reasons. Gold was, if you ingest it in a certain formula, you can live eternally, and also their planet had been suffering from the atmosphere, like our atmosphere is getting destroyed, and they had holes in their ozone, and they had destroyed their atmosphere from years of radiation and atomic wars. So, they came here to another planet to destroy, just like we're going to go to Mars to destroy that. But hopefully we learn in one of these trips that go to colonize the planet. But anyway, what they did is they came here, and they saw the indigenous species, the Homo erectus, and they
Yeah,
They decided to use that as their basis because when they were making these traps for they were looking at all the animals, so they had traps for the animals. And Homo erectus was freeing the other animals, and they go, wow, this species has compassion. Let's use that as a basis for this new being that we're creating, and we want to make sure it's smart enough to be able to follow orders, but not too smart that it'll take over like Planet of the Apes, right? So that was their dilemma.
Right.
So there's the analogy. They didn't want them to take over. So
yeah, I don't know what my connection was with apes or whatever, but I kid you not, I had nightmares after that movie for weeks at least, and I still don't know to this day why, but I did. So it was kind of trippy.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched it too, and I didn't have nightmares. What's going on? You're sensitive.
Well, I don't know. I think I had a connection with something like those apes or something going on in another life or something. I think, but I don't know what it is. I still haven't come across that. I know I used to be a Native American I think it was in the Civil War, and this Confederate, I think it was a Confederate soldier, stabbed me in the back. And then at the same time, when I was falling down, I stabbed him. We both killed each other, right? And so to this day, when people stab me in the back, I can literally feel the energy in my back. Somebody, is talking smack about me or saying something crappy about me or whatever. When somebody does that, I can literally feel it in my back physically. So it's kind of trippy. But
yeah, it's interesting when you die in a certain way. I remember I can't remember the details, but I remember getting stabbed in the back, and so there's a spot in my body that actually has pain from this backstabbing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, have you ever done body work where you get massage and then someone says, "Tell me the story of the pain," and they'll hold on your spot that is painful? I had somebody, I think, do some kind of hypnotherapy thing with me, something similar to that, and that's when I went back in time and I noticed this experience that I had in that other lifetime with this soldier and getting stabbed in the back. That's when I ended up analyzing that or understanding that, I guess, to some extent or another. So that was and ever since then. Every time I get stabbed in the back, like psychologically or emotionally or spiritually or whatever, I can usually literally physically feel it in the back of my back, the middle of my back. So you've uncovered the reason behind the pain on a past life level. So what we do in psychotherapy is we progress you into the interlife, and you bring forth those that you've harmed or have harmed you. And so you imagine to this, either now or you can do it later, just imagine talking to that fellow that you killed and killed you, and resolving your karma with each other. Now, does this person resemble
I don't think I've done that yet.
Anybody? Yeah. Have you met this person in this life?
Well, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen him or come across him ever again since then. But I've never really gone back and done any energy work with this guy. Maybe I have, but if I did, I can't remember. But I don't think that I have. Yeah.
Well, because we're having this conversation, there's a strong likelihood that you might encounter him. I have a fellow I call Nemesis, and we go through time, and I don't like to kill, so I usually, escape and jump to my death, because there's a karma to killing. Even if you're being killed, there's a karma, even though it's not as extensive. Oh, okay, so this is not going to last long. We're timing out. I tried to change the time. Let's see if it'll let me change the time. I think we're running out of time. Alrighty, so we're going to have to...
Yeah,
wrap this up. We have 8 minutes, but it was a good start. Yeah, it wouldn't let me change it.
Yeah.
Okay. But,
so you're going to do a meditation?
So let's figure out what we want to cover in 8 minutes. So, so what I was saying is, you go and you dialogue with him in your own mind's eye. You bring him forth, do forgiveness. It could be a woman now. We don't come back to the same sex all the time. But I identified nemesis, and but I don't know who he is now, and I think he's male, although I think I know who he is. Yeah, I have an idea who it is, but I can't confirm it. So I don't know how one confirms your past life enemy, so to speak. But I know you have to resolve it. If you have an enemy, you have to resolve it. It's just a part of the polarity.
Right. I've done lots of stuff like that, but I can't remember, and I don't think I've ever done anything directly and personally. I mean, I've done more of a general thing, where I've done some cleaning with all my enemies per se, but I've never. I don't think I've ever gone directly with this guy and done some shifting around and some healing work and so forth. So maybe that's something I need to think about, right?
Right, because if you're still having it happen, then it's still in you. So you still have to do some clearing. Otherwise, it stops happening, or you're just neutral about it. But you said that you had a perception of being stabbed again, and that you get stabbed again. It was like betrayals. And that's a big one.
Yeah.
Most people have some kind of betrayal thing. You think you're clear about, and then and when somebody betrays you, or you feel betrayed, it's like a stabbing. It's like, it's in your heart. It's like,
Right, exactly. You still there? Are you still there? So I think we're off air, and so have a God Goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.